Once I matriculated, my father said, you are not going to get involved in horses. First of
Clever
all,
man.
you get a career, so that if you end up divorced with children, you can support them.
Okay.
So I went and became a teacher and taught pre-primary and remedial for 9 years.
Jeez, now you see, that's why we have interesting guests like
Yeah.
this, because I didn't even know that. I thought Julie was just from day one a trainer.
Well, there's
Welcome to another edition of Horses to Follow for KwaZulu-Natal, and it gives me great pleasure to be back here at the glorious Ashburton Training Centre once again. We all know that it's Women's Month, and we have a lady guest with us today, a lady trainer in the form of Julie Guthrie. I'll introduce her and greet her in a moment, but before we go any further, a big thanks to our sponsors, Megatech, MGT Solar, bringing green sustainable energy to the globe. Thanks to Megatech for their contribution to this podcast. I'm going to start with ladies first, so you just stay quietly for a moment. Julie Guthrie, racehorse trainer for many, many years, friend of racing, welcome.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you with us, Jules. It is Women's Month, but we want to get to as many trainers as we can. So when Andrew said Julie Guthrie is our lady, I was very, very happy.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about how. As a question I ask everybody, and I want you to rewind the clock back as much as you can.
didn't I get an introduction?
They know who you are by now.
Oh, okay.
Are you feeling left out?
Yes.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, my bushy-haired friend over here, affectionately known as Grumpy, Andrew Harrison. Sorry, I did jump the gun. I'm so excited to hear about Julie that I forgot about you.
Oh, thanks, man.
But how was last week? Did you miss me?
No. Yes, I did actually. Not really, because you know what? The podcast was only half as long.
Half as long. Okay, I did watch the
I
podcast.
ran out of questions.
We were in Gauteng. And Julie was there. It was the 2-year-old sale was, I thought, fabulous.
Absolutely. And quite amazing that the prices were so good.
The first day, Julie, I thought there was a bit sort of stop, start, and most people said, well, they didn't get on the first day, so they try on the second day. I was one of them. Couldn't get. The prices, as you say, were phenomenal. On the second day, even stronger.
What were
Absolutely.
you doing buying horses?
Because we want to race them. What do you think we're buying horses for? To
With
play
what?
chess with?
With your Megatech
With
coins?
my Megatech coins. You took the words right out of my
yeah.
mouth. There we go with my Megatech coins. But welcome to you. Thank you for holding the fort while I was away. I did watch. I missed you all, but it's lovely to be back.
No, good. Well, let's carry on now.
Now can we talk to Julie?
Yes.
Lovely. Jules, tell us now. Rewind the clock to your young days. You're a young lady anyway, but I'm talking about your young school days. Even before that, how did it all start? When did you hear, and how did you hear about this animal called the horse?
Warren, I think I've been besotted since I was 3 years old. Where we lived in England, the property next to us then went on to open fields right up to the vicarage, and there were 2 ponies in there. Whether it was that or I just wanted to ride.
Okay.
So when we came to South Africa, I had done a little bit of riding in England, and of course you don't want to lose your friends, and my father said, don't worry, when we get to South Africa you can have your own pony. That was me. When are we going? So that's how it started. We came here, I think we'd been here a year. I started with my own pony and progressed to a few show jumpers, and I met up when I was 15 with a man called Jack Lawrence, who brought his ex-racehorse to the stables where I had my horses in Pinetown, Kildare Lodge, and he asked me to ride for him. And that year they staged the first ladies race ever in South Africa, and he asked me to ride his 6-time winner Bobby Dazzler, hence my love of the sport.
Now let me stop you there. Have you come into the scene yet? I mean, I know you.
No, I only come in around about Richmond.
Okay, that's fine. So that's perfect. Okay, so that's where and so you rode in the ladies' race.
Yes.
And how did you go for your first ride?
I got left at the start. I think we thought it was a false start because some seemed to go and the others of us that were left behind. But I finished about 6th, and it was a great experience and thrilling. The whole atmosphere on the course.
Okay, yeah, I must say we do miss those days. I mean, we understand now, particularly in COVID times, but even when there's no COVID times, we appreciate the support and the people that come to the races. But wow, it could be a lot better, couldn't it?
Yes, it could.
And you know, you understand that there's technology now. People are watching on laptops. People are watching in totes on their couch. I mean, at home. You know, so you can understand, and you can bet on your cell phone.
Have you been watching English racing this recently?
No.
This started now with full house. Jeepers, there's thousands of people.
Is that so?
Really like catering.
You know what I think is going to happen to us, just to go off the topic for a moment, is when everything, please God, eventually it'll be one day soon, whenever it is, if it's in 10 years' time, when they lift all the bans and everything's back to normal in South Africa, I believe that the racecourse attendance, maybe not always, but a good couple of months into it, we're going to be busy at the course. I think people will have missed it so much that they'll come.
I hope you're right.
And that's just a feeling I've got. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, it's what is that saying? When you something that you can't have, and then when you can have it, you get as much of it as you can. So let's hope that that's the situation. Okay, let's get back to Julie. So you rode in your first race. Don't worry about the cell phone. It's a very casual show, and I'm sure they'll call you back a bit later. Richmond. Now, Andrew says he came onto the scene where he met you and you knew one another as friends in Richmond. What happened in Richmond?
I had bought a horse called Silver Thunder, who was the most magnificent animal. He was a good racehorse, but he didn't want to show jump. He didn't want to do dressage. And I thought, well, what on earth am I going to do? Then I heard about Richmond racing. Nice. And I met Paul Donation. Now, Paul Donation had a very small, pretty horse that he was prepared to swap me with. So he would take the racehorse and I would take his little horse Eastern Deal. But we decided to race them, and my first ride in Richmond was on Eastern Deal in the same race as my horse Silver Thunder with Paul up, who we thought was going to win easily. And I won the race on Eastern Deal and ended up as Paul's stable jockey.
Okay,
yes.
Sure, okay.
Those Richmond days were, I mean, they were grounding for a lot of people. Doug Campbell was up there. Felix could see right there.
Yes.
Kevin Shea, I think, also in those early days.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So then, Jules, then you said, okay, you're going to train. This is what you want to do. You want to train racehorses. That's all you've ever done for the majority of your life, isn't it?
No.
What?
No, first of all, once I matriculated, my father said, you are not going to get involved in horses. First of all, man. You get a career, so that if you end up divorced with children, you can support them.
Okay.
So I went and became a teacher and taught pre-primary and remedial for 9 years.
Jeez, now you see, that's why we have interesting guests like us, because I didn't even know that. I thought Julie was just from day one a trainer.
Well, there's someone who can help you out with your problems.
With my problems, with my reading.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I had really had enough of teaching, I decided to pursue my passion, and I applied to Paul Donation for a job.
Okay.
So I worked for Paul for a year, and then for Johnny Dawson for 4.5 years. And we had a small holding in Drummond, and we decided, Dave and I bought some land behind it, perhaps we could train from the farm. So I took out a license and trained there for 2 years.
Okay. So you married to
Dave
Dittmer.
Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
You and Dave, how many years now has Dave been left
10.
us? 10 years.
Yes.
Sure, it's a long time, and you just, I'm just a youngster in the game, and I even remember years ago when we had that little share and a horse with you for the oyster box, and Dave was around, and shame he passed away. It was cancer, wasn't it?
No. You know, Dave loved to get involved in the stables.
He did.
In there with the broom and cleaning out, I think, old bedding and what have you. And he picked up a rickettsia, which is a form of tick-bite fever called Q fever,
okay,
which hides in your blood. difficult to diagnose, and it eventually destroyed his liver.
Sure, that's right. Sorry, not cancer. It's quite.
Yes.
I'm going to tell
So
you.
hence it does like biliary with animals.
Okay, sure. Okay, and then you now seeing that we're talking about, I say personal stuff, but it's not really personal stuff. It's Dave passed away, and you were a single lady for a while.
Yes.
And then you met another wonderful gentleman. Tell us about him.
Gordon Guthrie I trained for.
There's
I
Gordon
think
shaking
in
his head. He's listening.
Is he listening?
Yeah, you better be careful what you say. Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't agree that he's a wonderful man. Maybe he's not a wonderful man, but I know he's a wonderful man.
Anyway, so I trained for Gordon, I think in 1996. He had a winner with me, Flasherbow White, in 97. And Gordon maintained a good friendship with Dave and I for years. And when Dave passed away, Gordon would come and have the odd drink at the stables, and friendship blossomed into romance.
Well, isn't that wonderful? Because it's not nice for anybody to be on their own. You know, you want to have a companion, and that's fantastic. How many years now have you and Gordon been married? Not too many years, although the way time flies.
2 years next month.
Well, there we go. 2 years next month. Okay. Let's go back to your training. So it's at Drummond, etc. When did you move to Ashburton?
In 94.
Okay.
I think it was at the end of June, because I experienced the 1st of July and the whole of the grass track was frosted over.
Sure. And Jules, who was here with you? Who were your colleagues? The good old trainers that started?
The Rileys, Des Egders, Robin Watkinson, Anne Upton.
Jeez, okay. Did you get on with Anne?
Yes, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
So I think Anne's husband passed away,
yes.
But Anne lives just up the road, doesn't she? She
lives at
I think
Sakabula.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Also
Wonderful
horsewoman.
Wonderful horsewoman, yes.
Yeah.
Were you there with Nick? Yeah, Nick Feldman was
No, I
no,
wasn't.
not
I think he wasn't.
before you.
Yes, but was he here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, that was before my time.
Yeah.
So Vaughan Marshall, Paul Lafferty, also Dave Goss, just after you.
Before me.
Before you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. They were here before you arrived.
Yes.
Okay. And our good grumpy friend Gary Rich, he stopped and started a bit. Was he around?
He was here. Yes.
Okay. And you would have known his family too, Pam, his
Yes.
mom, and everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know Jack Russell at all?
Jack Russell. I've got two of them at home.
Vaguely.
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 No, he was a character here. He only used to start work at about 10:30. So,
No, I didn't know him when he was training.
not okay.
Why didn't you laugh at my joke?
It wasn't funny.
Did you understand what I said? You said, did you know Jack Russell?
Yes,
I
I know.
got two of them at home.
It's not funny. I know.
Okay, it's not funny. All right.
I'm sure Jack Russell will be
Gordon's loving it. He's laughing in the background. Nice to have Julie's husband here, Gordon.
Just hope Jack Russell's not listening to this podcast.
How old is Jack Russell?
No, he must be past my age. Anyway.
Past your age. Okay, no. Well, there was no malice. There's never any malice. It's always a fun and games on this podcast. So, and if Jack Russell's listening, let him contact us, because he must be a man that we can get onto the podcast.
No, Dean Russell's brother.
Okay, so there we go.
Remember Dean Russell, the jockey? Yeah.
Yes.
In your time as a trainer, and you're still going strong, and some nice horses have been through your hands. I mean, maybe a little bit, and also another thing I want to say, and people are quick to say, well, that's a moderate jockey, and that's a moderate trainer, and that's a this, and that's a that. At the end of the day, a human being, whether you're a plumber, whether you're a trainer, whether you're an owner, whatever you are, if you haven't got the tools to do the job, you can't provide the goods. And we'll talk about your stable in a moment in more detail, because at the moment it's hard to get owners, it's hard to get good horses, it's hard to get the capital to spend, etc. But you've trained good horses right through your career. Tell us a bit more.
Oh, I think one of the best ones I ever had, it was early on in my career, was Julie's Boy. And there's no doubt about it. You get a good horse, he trains himself. That horse he went to races, he loved it. He liked being on show. And he was easy to train. Yeah, he won 7.
7. I mean, there's not too many horses that are running today, Andrew, that are 7-time winners.
No.
And now, I know me as an owner, because you don't want to set your sights too high, where if you can win a maiden, you're happy, and if you burgle one more, you're over the moon.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to win races.
For sure.
And are you of the opinion that, they say the horses today are not as strong and as steady as they were bred and they were in the old days? Do you agree with that statement, or do you find them pretty
possibly not as tough?
Not as tough. That's probably the word I'm looking for.
I think so.
Tough.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judy's boy. Do you remember Judy's boy?
Yes, didn't he race in the blue and white colours? Your blue and white colours?
Yes, actually Dave's colours.
Dave's colours,
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
You've been colour holders for many, many years?
Yes, I think from about 87.
Okay. Judy, at the moment now, we talk about your. Gordon just wants to.
Your phone.
To take your handbag. That's fine.
That's
let him take
wonderful.
Your handbag.
Thank you.
So now you're still at Ashburton. Tell us about Judy Guthrie's stables right now. I mean, it's a fun yard. It's a passion.
Yes, it is. And we've always raced with our friends, and the people that have come in, like Carol Kingham, became friends, close friends. And the people have stayed with me. As I said, Gordon had horses with me in the 90s. My good friend Deborah, she came to me, I think I moved here in 94. She's been with me since 1995.
So, it's obviously everyone wants to achieve, but at the end of the day, it's a hobby, it's a passion. You'll have to come and be with the horses. You want them to run, they run well, and it's a fun yard.
Warren, we've got a motto on the door, and it says, horses are our passion, racing is our sport. And I think that sums it all up.
Yes.
And yes, we've had some moderate horses, we've battled a little bit, getting new people in and things like that. But I think we're in a position where the stable is just starting to grow again.
Okay, well that's good news. Now, let's talk about, you mentioned Carol Kingham. She's been a long-standing owner and a long-standing friend of yours and of racing's. Sadly, she passed away yesterday after a dreadful illness with cancer. But she was a lady that also, like you, liked to dress up to her horse's colours, and she came racing, and she just loved it, didn't she?
Absolutely passionate about the sport. And her and I went to Dubai twice and watched the racing, over to France, and yes, wonderful lady.
Yeah, same.
And a very, very good friend.
And sad that racing's lost a good friend as well, and she was just, as you've said many times, pleasure to train for. Never a moan, never a groan, and just loved the animal like we all do.
Absolutely, loved going around the farms, looking at the foals, at the weanlings.
That's what it's all about.
Lovely.
I mean, of course, it's a stupid question, but I mean, you remember Carol Kingham from before I was even in racing.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time.
I think Carol had her first winner with Gary.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Then she was with Jane Thomas, and when Jane Thomas decided that she was going to give up training and I think do the spelling and pre-training for Cyril Naidu, she phoned me and said, look, I've recommended Carol comes to you. That was 21 years ago.
Sure, can you believe it?
Yes.
And Judy, I don't like to make this comment, but I'm going to say it because everybody does, but I don't stick by it. They say that racing is a male-dominated sport, and do you find it being difficult? Do you find it what's the word? Not dominating, intimidating. Thank you, that's why we've got you here. Do you find it intimidating? I'm going to wait for your answer, but I want to jump in as well, because I don't like that question, because there's so many phenomenal women in racing, there's so many phenomenal women in business, and for me, nobody should be intimidated.
No,
if you've got the talent. So how do you feel in a mainly male-dominated sport?
I don't feel intimidated, no, not at all.
I mean, your friends and your colleagues are male and female, and you get on and do the job.
Absolutely. Pursue one's dreams.
It does irritate me a bit, because a lady shouldn't feel, nobody should feel intimidated. If you can do the job, whether you're a male, you're a female, whatever you are, if you can do the job.
But racing's always been
it has always been sort of a male sport.
There's always a lot of backstabbing.
But never mind that, we've got some damn good ladies.
Things have changed a lot. I mean, I was talking to Rachel in the last podcast. I mean, she doesn't take a back seat.
No, she doesn't take a back seat. There's no reason for her to take a back seat, And I mean, I don't want to list them because we'll forget somebody and they'll get offended, but we've got dozens of top quality horse ladies in the sport. And when you actually think of it, there's lots of them, so it's not really, is it really a male-dominated sport? Because now you look at Dean Cunningham assistant, female, Julie, female, Corinne Bestel, and a host of Lizanne Forbes' assistant, female, and the list goes on and on, Rachel, female. So I don't listen to that nonsense that it's a male-dominated sport, but that's just my opinion. Now, your pet hate in life in general, what really irritates you? If I said, is there anything that you really don't enjoy?
No, I don't think so. I think I try and maintain a positive attitude. and live in appreciation, because one thing that COVID has taught us,
Yes.
boy oh boy, live every day to the full, because you don't know
No,
if
you
it's
and Gordon
going to
had
be
it.
your last.
Yeah.
We were very ill with
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and so were Doug and Di Campbell, and
So did you and Gordon both have COVID?
yes,
Okay, I didn't realise
yes,
that. I knew
in
Doug
the
and
end
Di.
of January, and
Okay.
I know, Di and I were SMSing each other. How are you? How are you? How are you getting on? This is what we're feeling. This is what we're feeling. It was a dreadful thing,
Yeah, that's,
totally debilitating. That you can feel so tired.
yeah.
And I've got to thank my staff and my Nduna Tabo, who just took the reins and carried on. He's been with me.
I'm glad you've touched on
For-
Tabo. Tell
for-
us about him.
Tabo's been with me. I think he started with Des, and then we had a bit of unrest, and everyone, I think, got fired and rehired, and that was a long time ago. And Tabo joined us, and he's a wonderful horseman. And he's been with me for over 20 years and does a great job.
Humble man, because he
Very.
greets everybody. He's just the
Absolutely.
most
Yeah,
wonderful
good
Yes.
punter too. You can
Is he
see-
a good punter?
Yeah, he can clock a gallop.
Does he know? He knows. Okay, well, that's good. Anybody that can make an extra pound, why not?
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic. Just before we go on to the next sort of chit chat, and it's wonderful, we're talking so nicely, and I know you're going to say it's too long, but it's not too long. People want to hear
Stick it-
about Julie.
Yeah, so stick a cork in it. Let's go.
Well, she's talking lovely for us, but I must just please mention to everybody that there is a gusty wind. It's windy out here. We're at the Ashburton Clubhouse. We've told you about this place. Come and have breakfast, come and have cold drinks, beers, whatever you want. Watch the horses work, and we want you to enjoy the environment and the atmosphere of this beautiful area. So it is a bit windy, so bear with us with the wind, and I just apologise for that. You and Gordon do enjoy getting out and about. So do my wife and I, and people say, oh, you're always away, or you're always out and about. But for us, we've made the decision, you work hard, but you've got to play hard too.
No, absolutely.
Hobbies, game reserves.
Game reserves, yes, we love. And funnily enough, we love to just come to the training centre with the dogs, bottle of wine, let the dogs have a run, maybe braai over near the reservoir.
Okay.
And we've actually loved this place.
Ashburton is a special place. Of course, as we talk about the wind, it was just a gentle breeze. Now Hurricane Katrina is coming through,
Yeah.
but anyway, Summerveld is a gorgeous training centre. We know that, but there's just something about Ashburton. It's almost like they say in Cape Town, Durbanville's the country course. This is almost the country training centre.
Yes, it is. And it's got a lovely atmosphere.
Yeah, it certainly has. It certainly has.
And Saturday mornings is a great morning. Owners come.
It's a lovely vibe.
Yes, absolutely.
You've been the mayor of Ashburton for a long time.
Yes, I have been.
Has he been a good mayor of Ashburton?
I think so.
He never misses.
No,
You have to come and chase the zebras off the course in the morning, and then there's a couple of Nyala bulls at the end there that keep chasing them around.
And the wildebeest.
And the wildebeest.
Wildebeest. Okay, Jules, I think we've covered most bases. I mean, is there anything else we've heard about where Judy comes from and what she's doing? And
I know where she's going to Tembe Elephant Park soon,
at the end of September.
end of September.
Okay.
Oh.
I heard you were saying that you've never been, you've never done that. You've never been to Tembe, is that right?
Well, I think we go twice a year.
Okay. So maybe it wasn't Judy. Somebody said they were going somewhere where they haven't been, and maybe it was somebody that was going. You know who it was? I think it was Mike and Tanya McCarty who hadn't been to Adder Elephant Park. I think. Anyway, but by and by. Now let's talk about. You've just got the one runner on Sunday. We're racing at Hollywood Bets Scottsville on Sunday the 29th. And there is a bit of cold weather predicted, snow, 100% snow predicted in Moira over the weekend. And I think, I saw that unless somebody was car making with us on the cell phone. But I saw that 100% snow predicted for Moira on the weekend.
Oh no, because Spooky Humby said it's going to be 5 degrees on Saturday morning,
Yeah,
so he
okay.
doesn't think he'll be getting out of bed.
And with this weather that's coming about now,
Yeah.
it could be bringing something ghastly. But anyway, whatever happens at this point in time, we're racing at Hollywood Bet Scottsville on Sunday. And Jules, you've just got the one runner in the second race, a horse called, you pronounce it for us, Embarrass Narish.
Correct.
Okay, now, never too far off the action, this filly.
Like a few of my horses, and it has been so frustrating the last couple of months, they have been continuously balked. Taking through the gap closes up, switched out, gap closes up, flying up late, just out of the money. Frustrating.
And that's about when you say need luck in running. You know?
Yes.
And you look at her form, not the worst form. Third close up to Arlette, as you say, it's 4 lengths off Ruby Sky. Last time 3.5 lengths, just out the money. Form round's been, Sherman Brown rides. Now, as a jockey, you've also known and you've used him for many years.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like being in a comfort zone with Sherman. You know that he's going to go out there, do his best for you, and try.
Yeah.
And he's a mature jockey, not going to make silly mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and how do you think she'll run? With a bit of luck in running?
Right there.
Okay, so a nice draw, bit of luck in running. That's one for you to include.
Absolutely.
Number 2 in Baranda.
Will she go in the wet?
I think so.
Because
I don't think
it
that-
might be a little bit wet on Sunday.
And one thing we do know about her, if they move it to the poly track, she runs on the poly as well.
So that'll help. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Jules, I think all that's left, Andrew and I are going to go through the card, and I don't think you want to sit here for that, so if you want to get up and go and join your husband over there and head on home or do whatever you want to do, we've done with you. If there's anything you want to add, please feel free to do so, but it's been great talking to you, and it's been great having you and learning about you. And as I said, we could talk for 2 hours. You've had such a great career, and thanks for your continual passion and your continual love for the horse and for racing. And anybody who wants to get involved in a horse with Judy Guthrie at Ashburton, look her up on Facebook. Email address, have you got an email?
Yes, I do.
Let's share the email with
It's
those.
julieguthrie45@gmail.com.
There we
I've
go.
got some lovely babies and lots of shares going.
There we go. So you want to have fun, you want to be in a passionate yard with a bunch of ladies and gentlemen, that's the email address. But thanks for being part of it. Happy Women's Month. And
Thank
we look
you.
forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you both.
Lovely, thank you, Jules.
Jules.
Okay.
Tawanda will sort you out behind the camera. We'll carry on. And just go back to you who's come. Don't be scared. I'm not going to
Okay.
bite. I'm not going to bite. You've come to Ashburton. You've known Judy for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
And day in and day out, she's here with her horses, and she tries her very best. And what a history she's got, Andrew.
Yeah, I know that a lot of those I don't call them seasoned trainers.
Yes, yeah. Well, I laughed because I said to somebody the other day they were a senior rider, and somebody said, gosh, they'll get offended. Not at all, because Stuart Randolph is a senior rider of the jockey room, and you're safe to say that Julie Guthrie is a senior trainer of the trainer ranks. She's been around for a long time.
I seem to remember someone called Anton Marcus a veteran trainer, and he got a bit veteran jockey. Sorry, he got a bit upset to that.
Okay, now never mind the snow coming on Sunday or Saturday, according to the websites.
winds,
It might be coming in the next half an hour with this gust.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go. Let's talk about horses quickly.
I'll have to look up here.
Look it up. In the meantime.
We're on wheel.
In the
We're
meantime,
doing tomorrow's.
No, we're not going to discuss Fridays because it's going to be too late. Let's discuss Sunday the 29th. But while you're clocking up there, let me just ask you about a few news items. Equus Awards, phenomenal result for Gold Circle. Phenomenal.
Yeah, they cleaned up. It's good.
David Thistleton, Tawanda Tadavinga, Graham Hawkins, Candice Lenferner. 4 Equus Awards in our land.
Yeah.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, what a pleasure. Well, it just shows you what we're trying hard to promote the game now.
It's just a pity that your entry and my entry didn't make it, but we'll come back another year.
Well, I haven't never entered, so I wouldn't.
Well, if they don't know who Andrew Harrison is by now, well, then I don't know where they've been. But so Equus Awards, fantastic. The Bloodstock South Africa 2-year-old sale, you would have seen the results. For me, you can say what you like. You can say I'm too overexcited. I'm telling you, when racing opens fully again, the crowds will be coming back to the course. Maybe not forever and ever, but there's going to be a great interest in the sport when the crowds can come back. You mark my words. And the other thing I want to tell you is the sales that we went to in Johannesburg is exciting because the money was there. The average was 147,000 or whatever it was. Horses were getting sold. There was money around, and they're not buying those horses to put them in their back garden.
Yeah, I think
they're buying them to race.
There always has been money around. It's just a case of getting the people to spend it. To get people to be involved, especially people that are not involved in racing, and sort of build up interest in the sport.
Next bit of news is the KwaZulu-Natal Racing Awards are taking place at the race meeting on Monday. Those winners have already been announced. Some good winners and some deserving winners.
Yeah, there always is.
KZN came to the party at the death because it was looking a little shaky. A horse like Mariah popped up at a Group 2, I think it was, or a Group 3, and Lyle Hudson, the jockey, and Carl Stradham, the apprentice, Garth Puller. So
then we had Robbie Hill rounded it off with
Pearl of Asia.
Pearl of Asia, yes,
Absolutely. And what other news have you got?
Nothing really.
Also,
I've been away. I went fishing.
There's been, we'll talk about your fishing in a moment, but there's been no racing on Friday, or no racing tomorrow, or there was no racing yesterday, whenever you're watching this podcast, Port Elizabeth, because there's been a bit of a coronavirus scare there.
Yeah, they've run out of jockeys, and with jockeys not allowed to move because of the corona, so they didn't have enough riders. So Gold Circle very kindly jumped in, and it's quite a nice card on Friday if you're watching this.
Yeah, it is a nice card. But we're discussing Sunday, and I think let's go into it, because I know you're going to start moaning. We've been talking for a long time and all the rest of it. But did you really miss me last week?
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. At least you're honest. So you have got some love in that heart of yours.
Sort of.
So you have got some love in that heart of yours. And let's congratulate. And how's your Megatech? Now, we know that Megatech MGT Solar is taking green sustainable energy to the globe. And MGT Solar, they must go onto the website. There's straps, there's adverts, there's inserts, there's everything that Tawanda puts on about our sponsors, MGT. We were given some coins, if that's what some Megatech coins. Put into our wallet. And how's yours doing?
I haven't checked my wallet. I've given it to my son because he's a bit more tech savvy than me.
Okay, so he's going to monitor it.
I asked him to check this morning and he didn't. So.
Okay, well I know that they've registered, they've listed now, I should say, and things are starting to take place. It's starting to fly. And the best news is that Eddie Nielsen, who was on our podcast some time ago, tells us that he already has got one. Okay, I know it's not 100, but one's better than none. He's got one investor already from the podcast.
None. Oh, good.
So that's,
at least someone watching.
That's damn good news.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about horse racing. 12:35, 25-1 is the first race on Sunday at Hollywood Bet Scottsville. For me, my comments here, it's a very tough race. There's not too much form to talk about, but I am expecting big improvement from number 8, Soweto Rose. How did you tip it as I take a glug of my Coke?
Soweto Rose, I tipped a second. I think it's quite a difficult race. There's a couple of first timers in there. I think Anton might be on the right one. One shot wonder.
First timer, so you're going to go in with the first timer.
No, I think that's the one you have to watch out for.
Yeah. Okay, but who did you tip first in the race?
Fateful Day.
Okay, number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 Fateful Days, Andrew's first choice. Watch out for number 3, One Shot Wonder. And I'm expecting all the improvement from number 8, Soweto Rose, from the Clinton Binder stable, Hollywood Syndicate, Musi Yeni. Let's move on to the second race. I thought another tough race, Andrew. Again, not too much form to talk about, but horses 9 Zuri Star, 1 Global Secret, 10 Cashew, and now after we've heard from Julie Guthrie, 2 Embarrass Darish, Quartet Chance, but a difficult race.
Yeah, it's not easy. I went for Global Secret. I thought it was just a little bit disappointing last time. But she doesn't meet much of a field here. I think she's got a big chance.
Gate 1 over 1,400 metres will certainly be in her favour. Race 3, which is off at 1:45, 13:45. It's the first leg of the Pick 6. Did you speak to Spooky about number 1 Go Sandals, or does he?
I don't ask him, and I didn't tip it, so I tipped it second. He said I can tip anywhere except first. So
okay. Tipped it second.
Yeah, so take the exacta, Go Sandals and path to fortune.
Okay, you've got no sandals on today though. No sandals.
No, I would. Jeez, my feet are killing me.
Okay, Go Sandals. Well, if you put a nice pair of comfortable shoes on, maybe nice comfortable shoes on, you might not get such tender feet.
I went touring the brambles and the river yesterday.
Yeah, you got a break-in or something, didn't you? Or somebody tried to get into your property?
Yeah, last night.
Oh, yeah. So that wasn't the time when you went to the brambles. That was when you went fishing.
That was when I went fishing. Yeah.
Okay. What did you catch when you went fishing?
I caught Natal Scaly. I'll show you the picture.
Okay. Well, maybe Tawanda can put the picture up. We'd love to see the fish that you caught, because my good friend Andrew Harrison's a very, very, very good fisherman. Back to the third race.
Sorry. Did you say somebody tried to break in your house last night?
Broke into our property. Yeah.
Can you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, could you, I want to know about that. What happened? What time was it?
It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Were you asleep? Obviously you were asleep. Did you wake up?
Yeah, I woke up. Well, sort of. The hottie-dars went off and the neighbour's dog started going, and then they dug underneath the electric fence. Dug a hole.
A hole enough to get the human body under.
Yeah, and then they went and stripped all the copper piping off the walls.
And
the plumbing, so we got the water has disappeared now.
So by the time, did you get up and go and have a look?
Yeah, well, the security blokes arrived and they disappeared in a hurry. Yeah.
The rogues you couldn't catch?
No.
Couldn't find?
No.
Okay, well that's a little bit of a problem. I wonder there's a bit of a smell here. You have no water, you didn't have a bath. Okay, back to the third race. Okay, so what were your selections? Go Sandals and who was the other one?
Path to Fortune.
Okay, I am going first number 2, Royal Monarch, from number 3, Path to Fortune. Race 4 is a lot of well-tried maidens here in the fourth race. I like numbers 7, Fort Wiley, 8, Duquesne Whistle, 9, Command Council, 11, Deputy Marshal, and 13, Supper at 6. But my narrow first choice is number 7, Fort Wiley, young Rachel Venica.
Yeah, I think 2 good runs last time out, and I think Rachel's riding very well, and that I think the 4 kilos will help a lot.
No arguments for race 4.
No.
Let's move on then to race 5 as Hurricane Katrina comes through. It's a 90 handicap for fillies and mares over 1,500 metres. My numbers are 7, Gardenia, from 2, Makara, 1, Twice the Quality, and 6, Elusive Current. Interesting runner for me is number 1, Twice the Quality, because she comes with Cape Town form, she gets the best draw, and she could run well, and so could number 2, Makara. Ignore her last run, but I'm in the camp of MJ Oudendaal's horse, Gardenia. Talk to me.
Gardenia, I went with Fort Wiley, I think.
Fort Wiley's in the previous race.
Oh, crikey, okay, Makara. So I'll get there, sorry.
Get there, the fifth race now.
Yeah, well, my glasses are not working so well. Yeah. Makara, but you tipped the first 4, because that's what I tipped.
7216, is that the way you went?
I tipped 2176.
Okay, 2176.
Yeah.
What is it? Great minds think alike, or fools never differ?
Fools never differ.
Let's move on to the 6th race then.
Good. See if I can get the right race here.
Yeah, get the right race now. It's over 1,000 metres, race 6.
Warrior Captain. I think it was a hell of a run to Captain Tatters. If he repeats that, I think he'll win.
Start to say that again. Didn't make sense.
Warrior Captain.
Warrior Captain. It was a good run to who?
Oh shit! Now I'm looking in the wrong races here. You see, I was trying.
Glass is working. See, ever since he's tried to become technically savvy and start watching race cards off the computer, he's got it all wrong.
Got it all wrong.
You've got to use the traditional hard copies, but I'm just making with you.
Okay,
Go back. Tell us. We're on the 6th race.
I was thinking of today's racing, or whatever you think today's racing. I've just done the preview, and I'm confused at the moment. Yeah.
But there is a horse that ran very well to Captain Tatters. The name escapes me too. You're 100% right. Yeah. There is a form line to Captain Tatters.
Thinking of Dennis Dryers.
Yes, so keep an eye out for that. But the 6th race,
Warrior Captain. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Warrior Captain. The last one was in the nursery, so you've got to ignore that. One is maiden impressively. Paul Peters come into town. He hasn't come for fun. This ownership of the Shamrell Racing Syndicate are flying. They're having winners all the time. I'm in your camp. I like Warrior Captain.
Yeah, I think you ignore the nursery run. There's obviously something wrong there, and I think he's good enough to beat. There's a couple of older horses in there, but I think he's the one to beat.
The penultimate race, the 7th race on the card. What have you tipped there to win?
I've gone Space Race. He's also got some decent high-felt form. Beaten favourite last run. Just finding one better. So I think, and he's got to beat Nas, I think.
Arctic Princess.
Arctic Princess, yeah.
Okay, I'm in the camp of Space Race as well. Paul Peters, a trainer that we can follow with great interest here in KwaZulu-Natal. And yes, Arctic Princess is a danger. Let's move on to the last race. For me, a minefield. Very difficult race. It's a 68 handicap, but I think number 12, Fade to Black, could be the one they all have to beat.
Yeah, I tipped it 4th.
Who's your first choice? Share it with us.
A bit of a wide draw. I got Northern Warrior. It's been racing up against Stronger of late.
Yes.
And I think the extra with a 4 kilo claimer up might be good enough to beat Redamas.
Yeah, and Michael Roberts' horses are running well too.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a very quick microwave version of the horses that we like and the ones that we suggest you follow. at Hollywood Bet Scottsville on Sunday. Again, just to apologise for the breeze, but we want to put you out here on the balcony at Ashburton Trading Centre, and we want you to enjoy the view and to enjoy the scenery and the atmosphere. So sorry about the wind, and it is what it is. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it's nice weather. I enjoy this weather.
Yeah, it's much nicer than being hot.
Used to blow away the virus.
Blow away the virus, absolutely. But that's all from us. It's another day in beautiful Africa. Thank you for your time. Nice to be back.
Yeah, I'll get the card right next time. Sorry about that.
Andy, it's all part, you're working on the laptop. My laptop, you push the button twice and about 10 minutes later, action takes place.
Maybe if I'd raised the type size
yes,
to
absolutely.
about 36 point, I might have been able to read it properly. Okay.
But no other news. We've lovely to talk to Julie. We've touched on a bit of news. We've given the selections. It's nice to be back. We'll be back next week and give you some more information. Plenty of racing action. And again, thanks very much to our sponsors at MGT Solar, Megatech. They're taking green sustainable energy to the globe. Get onto their website. Enjoy the little clips that Tawanda puts in. And we'll see you as always in the number 1 box. Be safe, be happy, and punt well.